Well, in this one, the atheist reads Bible verses. We're going to do David and Nabal. Nabal. You know, this is in 1 Samuel 25, verse 2. And there was a man in Mohan whose possessions were in Carmel, and the man was very great, and he had 3,000 sheep, 1,000 goats, and he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife was Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding and of beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish, evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. And David sent out 10 young men, and David said unto the young men, Get you up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name, and thus shall ye say to him that liveth in prosperity, Peace be unto thee, and peace be unto thine house, and peace be unto all that thou hast. And now I have heard that thou hast shearers. Now thy shepherds which were with us, we heard them not. Neither was there aught missing unto them while we were in Carmel. We did not hurt none of your people, so you give us food, you give us stuff, because we hurt none of your people. And, and back then, being polite and stuff, hospitable was a big thing, Let's face it, God destroyed 2 cities for inhospitality and for wanting to, have sex with angels, right? That's thy young men, and they will show thee. Wherefore let the young men find favor in thine eyes, for we come in a good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh to thy hand unto thy servants and unto thy son David. And when David's young men came, let's skip that part and go to verse 10, we'll skip 9 and go to 10. And Nabal answered David's servants and said, Who is David, and who is the son of Jesse? There be servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. That if you think about it, Nabal is right, because he knows that David was working with Saul. Most likely he would have to know who David was because of David and Goliath. But he would know that. So he knows that David is running away from Saul. He may not know the whole story. So obviously you can understand his misgivings and wanting to help David. After all, Saul did slaughter a whole bunch of people at some temple, right? And when the young came, blah, 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 then I shall take my bread and my water and my flesh they have killed for my shearers, shall I, and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be. That's fair, This food is meant for his people, his men, so why should he give their food away? Why should his people starve? It's fair. So David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told him all those things. So Nabal didn't harm them, didn't spit at them, didn't cut their beards or anything. He just simply said, Who is this David? And why should I give you guys food? I don't know you guys. Fair. Let's see, is David going to say, yeah, okay, I understand. And ask him, how about if we trade, or is he going to come up with something like that, or find another source of food? Is he going to do this? Let's see what he does. And David said unto his men, Gird ye up, every man his sword. What the hell? And they girded on every man his sword. And David also girded on his sword. And there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 abode by the stuff. Wow. Damn. That's what you call overkill. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, Behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master, and he railed on them. But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt, neither missed anything, as long as we were conservative with them when they were in the fields. As long as we talked to them, they didn't hurt us or any of our animals. So please give him food, because he's going to kill all of us because of one person. He's going to slaughter all of us. And remember, this is the man after God's own heart. He's supposed to be he's actually the second king of Israel, but the line of Jesus comes from him, all this stuff. If you ever read the Bible, you know how important David is. And David is one of the biggest slime bags in this whole book. I'm not saying he's the greatest, because that's how it goes to people like Moses and Joshua. I was about to say Joseph, but not Joseph, Joshua. Now, therefore, know and consider that what thou shalt do, for evil is determined against our master and against all his household. For he is such a son of Belial that he cannot speak. That man cannot speak to him. Belial. That's basically saying he's, scoundrel and crap like that. And Abigail makes haste, gives him food, and begs him. And then, David is many, and David's like, well, maybe what I was about to do was wrong. You think, dumbass? And Nabal finds out, falls falls and breaks his little neck, and David takes Abigail as his wife and screws her and all that stuff. That's basically what's going to happen. Now, you can go to the Bible Reloaded. They do, the Bible verses and stuff like that. They do it better than I do, obviously, because I suck at this stuff. But, there's not a whole lot to this. You see for your own self the type of person that King David was. And this is not the only time. There's another verse. Let's not worry about it. I don't know. If you want to, you can. If I find it, it might take, a minute or two. It don't take that long because it's not that far because I'm already in the chapter. Well, here's it. Chapter 27. David's lapse of faith. It goes to Philistia. And then chapter 20, David among Israel's enemies. Now, he's fighting for all his, and he does, of course, if you read this, find that David does slaughter some of his fellow Jews, but he slaughters all of them so they can't tattle on him. Chapters 27, 28. David doesn't fight against Israel. David avenges the destruction of Ziklag and all this other stuff. He tries to kiss up to the Philistines, the people that are Israel's sworn enemies. You may say, well, David's at them, so of course he's going to run to the Philistines. Do you really think that a man that killed thousands of Philistines, killed a great warrior Goliath, would actually have been this welcoming to him? Do you really believe that if this actually happened, that they would welcome him like this? I mean, come on. And the death of Saul. Saul dies, and his armor bearer refused to do it, and Saul falls on his sword. Another man in second book of Saul, David hears of Saul's death and asks what happened, and of course the person, this Amorite, it says, well, Amalekite, chapter 1:8, and he said to him, who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. He said unto me, stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me, for anguish has come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. Now think about it. Saul's suffering. He's about to die. I always say this guy is just lying to David because he wants favor. I understand that. Okay? But Saul is about to die. He's suffering in pain. And this guy is just simply doing what he's asked to do. And what is David going to do? Because he doesn't know what really happened. What is he going to do? So I stood upon him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my Lord. Then David took hold on his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept and fastened even for Saul and for Jonathan his sons, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword. And David said unto the young man that told him, whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite. And David said unto him, how wast thou not afraid to stretch forth thy hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? And David called one of the young men and said, go near and fall upon him. And he smote him that he died. And David said unto him, thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth has testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. Yep, you help David, you're going to die. And this is not the only time it's going to happen. It happens a little bit later on in Saul also, because one is in 2 Samuel. One of Saul's sons becomes king of, I think, Israel, while David is king of Judah, and then they're battling. They battle, blah blah blah. People are dying. One of David's men kills that other king, Saul's son. Tells David the war should be over. David should be happy. David has the guy killed. That's the man David was. Wow. Wonderful book of morality. I can't wait to get to how it supports rape and other stuff. Wow. Well, anyways, please like, subscribe for free, to leave a comment. Feel free to watch any of my other videos. Thanks. Wow. Oh yeah, by the way, all this stuff I've told you read so far in the Bible, nothing compared to what you're going to see, especially like what I said about the rape and stuff and slavery.